Hey there, it's Susan Peirce Thompson, and welcome to the weekly vlog. So, today is a very big day. It is the beginning of registration for our Fall Food Freedom Boot Camp. This is usually our biggest cohort of boot campers of the year. It's a wonderful time to start the boot camp because we're back to school, and in the Northern Hemisphere, it's fall. And in particular, this boot camp takes people through the holidays, which is the best time to be in the safe haven of the protection of the boot camp. If you really are committed to transforming your life with Brightline Eating, you want to be doing the boot camp through the holidays. It's absolutely the best way to go because it's the hardest time of year for food. And boot camp is the most fortified, most supportive, most galvanized time. And when you get spit out the other end, January 1st, having lost all this weight through the holidays, and now you're starting January 1st already on a roll with it, it's just nothing feels better. You feel like you're on top of the world. You can tackle anything. And then you get started January 1st with Bright Lifers and just soar from there. And honestly, a huge percentage of the people who are successful Bright Lifers in our community started that way. They started with our Fall Food Freedom Boot Camp. Right now, at this time of year, it's an amazing time to start. And before we do this boot camp launch each year, we always send out a survey. We want to get your pulse. We want to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what's hard for you. We always ask about your two biggest challenges with losing weight. What's going on for you right now? And when we got the survey results back just a couple weeks ago, what stood out to us, and this is actually Becky Andresiak's insight, just a shout out to one of our brilliant Brightline Eating team members, what she noticed as a theme through the comments and challenges that people had sent in was that there seemed to be a lot of people who have some sort of cursory experience with Brightline Eating, like enough to know that, it's giving up sugar and flour, enough to know that some food prep is involved, enough to know that, you're going to be weighing and measuring your food, enough to know the basic sketch of the program, but they hadn't gotten any traction with it. They were concerned about getting their first few bright days and stringing them together. They were concerned about making time for food prep. They hadn't gotten any traction with it. And it was pretty clear that either they hadn't done the boot camp, this amazing boot camp 2.0 that we've got, or maybe they tried boot camp but didn't put their all into it, or maybe they did it a long time ago and had a lot of success, but then drifted away from their bright life. So what it strikes me right now is that we all know that boot camp is the way to start with Brightline Eating. It is the strongest foundation you can possibly give yourself. And because registration is opening today for Boot Camp 2.0, for our biggest cohort of the year, our strongest cohort of the year, what I thought I would do in this vlog is give you my 4 best success tips for making sure that you start right and start strong in the boot camp. Because if you're one of these, many people who's kind of been in and around and sort of kind of not really doing Brightline Eating, but knows a little bit about what it's about, you're still here enough to respond to a survey. We got like 1,200 responses to that survey, and yet you're floundering, right? And so I wanted to give you a very crystal clear roadmap, like marching orders, what to do to get started with the boot camp strong. Now, the boot camp is already very, very clearly laid out. I mean, it is absolutely, we will hold your hand and give you your marching orders, but there is, there's some best practices for how to implement that. So here is my first piece of guidance. Carve out a lot of time at the very beginning to get started. It is time consumptive right up front, and way more so than later. Week 1 takes way more time in the boot camp than weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Week 1 is a lot, and that's because, oh, by the way, you're changing your whole life, right? Like, this is an overhaul that works, and there's a lot to it, right? And so what I want you to do is I want you to carve out a bunch of time at the beginning, several evenings or a weekend, right? And you might say, well, I don't have time for that. I'm super busy. Now, I get busy. Oh my gosh, 3 kids, 17 employees, like, I get busy. And yet the reality is, if family's coming in from out of town, I carve out 3 evenings, right? Like, oh, well, families, might not even be family that we're super fond of, right? And yet, there you go. We carve out 3 evenings. And isn't this more important? Aren't you more important? Isn't transforming your health, your well-being, your self-concept, finally losing that weight for good and for all, isn't that more important than, cousins coming in from out of town for 3 days? Of course it is, right? You do have the time. There's always time for what's most important. Carve out a good chunk of time. And it's more at the beginning. I've heard it said that, for a rocket ship to get from Earth to the moon requires a bunch of fuel. But interestingly, about 90% of it will get burned up just getting the rocket ship the first 100 feet off the ground, right? Once you're launched, it gets so much easier. So I want you to be cognizant that the launch of your Bright Line Eating program is going to be time consumptive. And then after that, it gets much, much easier, okay? And it's not such a heavy lift in terms of time in weeks 2 through, the end. It's right at the beginning that you got to carve out the time, okay? So that's my first piece of advice. Okay, piece of advice number 2. I want you to learn how to get help. Like, how to get help. What happens if you get overwhelmed? What happens if you get stuck? What happens if you feel like you're floundering and you can't make something work? We have so much help available for you in this boot camp. And I want you to take a moment to familiarize yourself with how you get help. So there's a green oval in the bottom right of most of the pages. Like most of the website pages, right, in the boot camp. Like, you're on the computer or your phone or your tablet and you're just doing the boot camp. Well, in the bottom right, you're going to see a green oval, and it's going to say Bright Line Eating Support and FAQs. And if you click on that button, you can do 2 things there. You can either search our FAQs, and I want you to practice that. Like, try typing in, how do I measure soup? I want to eat soup. Just put that in and see all the FAQs that we've got to support you in eating soup and figuring out soup, right? Ask, can I have corn tortillas? Just type it in, see what happens, right? We have got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of carefully written and curated FAQs to answer all of your frequently asked questions, right? And then the other thing is, there's a little ask icon. It's like a little thought bubble, right? A little word bubble, and it says ask. If you just click on that, that's how you contact our support team, who's standing by every day of the year, standing by to answer your questions, okay? So that green oval is indispensable, and I want you to practice with it. Just throw something in there and give it a try. And then, of course, we've got our amazing online support community with thousands of Bright Lifers who are so helpful, so experienced, and you can get help every minute of every day, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day from our community. And I want you to practice early on just putting a question out to the community and getting some support, saying, I don't know, like, how long did it take you to lose your weight? For those of you who have had your Bright transformation, you're in your Bright body, you're not carrying excess weight anymore. How long did it take you to lose your weight? And just see the answers pour in. And, then when you feel stuck, you feel overwhelmed, you'll know how to get support. Okay, my third piece of advice, and there are 4 of them. My third out of 4 is I want you to pick maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. I don't care, maybe 8, maybe 12, maybe 15. But at least one person in your life that you will show the friends and family video to. Now, the video for friends and family is a video explaining bright line eating and why some people's brains work differently than others, and why for some people it makes a lot of sense if you're having a craving for a certain specific food to go indulge in that food, and that scratches the itch and makes it go away, and you can go on with life, and that works really well. And that for other people, scratching the itch just makes it itchier. And actually, a policy of none is easier than some for some people, right? And it explains the psychology of that. It explains the neuroscience of that so that you don't have to. And it'll be so helpful to have a person or 2 or 3 in your corner so that those closest to you aren't going to be asking, don't you want to just have some? I mean, it is your birthday, you know. They'll actually understand that when you say a bright line, you actually mean a bright line, and you don't want to just have some, that's not in your best interest. But you don't have to do that explaining, right? Now, the friends and family video is located in bonus number 1, which comes up right away at the beginning of the boot camp, bonus number 1, and it's called A Full Flourishing Life, Navigating Family, Friends, and Social Situations. And one of those videos is for friends and family. And there's a link there so that you can forward the link to people so that they don't have a boot camp login, right? They're not boot campers. But there's a link that will work for them to watch that video from any device, anywhere. You just send them the link. And you just ask them, as a favor to you, would they please watch this video, right? So I want you to think about just a person or 2 or 3 in your life that it would be great to have in your corner supporting you. And I just want to thank Betty Rabinowitz, who suggested that inclusion in this vlog. It's a great suggestion, Betty. I love the idea of people having someone close to them who really understands to support them. Okay, and finally, my 4th piece of advice and final piece of advice. It's to take baby steps. Baby steps. To focus on just the next right action. Easy does it, one baby step at a time. I think we really undervalue the tremendous potential in baby steps. It is so true that journeys of thousands of miles start with one single step. And each step in the bright line eating journey is truly so easy and simple and so laid out for you. So you don't even need to make up what the baby steps are. They're so easy. And if you go into module 0, it's so clear, you start there. Module 0, the planning and preparation process, right? The first thing you'll see there is a worksheet, a download. It's a checklist. It's the action steps and invitation to reflect checklist that you'll find with every module that's in the boot camp. They all start right at the beginning with a PDF download that is your checklist for that module. And the checklist for the planning and preparation process is your checklist for getting started. So when you get into the boot camp, I want you to just download that. Probably print it out would be a good idea. And then just keep your nose down, breathe. Ask your highest self for support. Ask God, ask the universe, ask your guardian angels for some support, and just take one baby step at a time. Keep it so simple, and just stay focused on right action, the next right action. It's laid out for you in sequence, so easy. Boom. That is the formula for success. Now, I've just actually shared a lot for you, and I was concerned in shooting this video that I might overwhelm you. So I just want to say, everything I just said in this vlog is laid out in a very clear summary at the bottom of the vlog on the Brightline Eating website. All right. So if you go to brightlineeating.com and click on vlog, find this video and scroll beneath it and just see everything I said. So you've got even this vlog laid out very clearly on paper, like a summary of it. So you can get started right. You know, it's a daunting thing, perhaps, Brightline Eating, but it doesn't have to be. It just requires getting started with action. And the action now is to get yourself into the boot camp, because that's where the magic is. That's where the foundation gets laid. If you're one of these people, the so many people who said that they're struggling with some of the basics, food cravings, how not to eat sugar, again, food, making time for food prep, all of the basic fundamentals of Brightline Eating. If you're not truly free and living in your bright body, done with excess weight, done with food cravings, done with food thoughts, done with hunger, if you're not yet in that state, let us help you get there. We're experts. It's what we do. It's what we do all day, every day, for a living. It's what we do, is help you transform. And so now it's time to be in the boot camp with all of the support of the Food Freedom cohort that's starting right now. So we've put a link below this vlog to get started with the boot camp right now. Hop into this cohort and do this at the ideal time of year. This is when you want to be doing Brightline Eating. Imagine it's January 1st and you're soaring. You've just lost so much weight and you're starting a new year in the best position possible, having made it through what other people are experiencing as a degrading, demoralizing several weeks of gluttony and overindulgence and hating themselves and resolving not to do it again to themselves in the new year. And you are on top of the world because you just had the best holiday season ever, focused on the people, the traditions, the joy, the camaraderie, the family, and food was just a lovely supplement in its right place, right alongside all that joy. Be with us. The boot camp is starting now. Click below. I love you, and I can't wait to see you on the inside.